Hey everybody, Nate Carter here with today's Cornerstone Connection Daily Devotional. A little while ago, one of my kids had to get a COVID test, and if you've ever had a COVID test, you know what it's like. They come out with that little stick with the fuzzy tip at the end, and this is what the nurse said to my kid. I'm going to put this up your nose, and it's going to tickle a little bit. Now, if you've ever had the COVID test, you know that does not tickle, it hurts. It hurts a lot. And so it was misleading for this nurse to say this is going to tickle your nose. Contrast that, about a year ago, I had to get an injection in my hand. And I really appreciate that my hand doctor said to me, for about 10 seconds, this is going to be pure agony. And you know what? It was. For about 10 seconds when I got that injection, I kind of wished that my life would end because it was horrible. Felt like someone had poured fire into my hand. But I was expecting it. And so when it came, I wasn't surprised. I wasn't misled. And I got to thinking this morning about the fact that good expectations are critical. And I was thinking about some of the places in my life where I've had some pretty great disappointments. Sometimes there are some issues in my life that I've been praying over, in some cases for literally decades, asking God to help me through a certain difficulty that I have in my life, or to help me overcome a struggle with sin that I have in my life. And I've been praying for years and years, and sometimes decades. And sometimes I found myself like getting angry at God. Like, God, I've been diligent to pray. I want my life to be better. I want this to be resolved. Are you ever going to come through? And I got to thinking about that and realizing that that question is based on bad expectations. Listen to what the Apostle Paul says in 2 Corinthians 12, 7 through 9. He says, "Therefore, in order to keep me from being conceited, I was given a thorn in my flesh, a messenger of Satan to torment me. 3 times I pleaded with the Lord to take it away from me." Now, all too quickly, I think we jump to verse 9, where Jesus responds and says, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. Therefore, I will boast all the more gladly about my weakness, so that Christ's power may rest on me." And I think that we are supposed to get there. We are supposed to get to the point where we recognize the grace of God, and that we boast in Him alone, and we accept His perfect power in our weaknesses. But I don't think it's really healthy for us to jump to that conclusion without first realizing that God has allowed a thorn into the Apostle Paul's side, and he is not intending to ever take that thorn away. Even though Paul prays, and we are encouraged to pray, we ought pray for God to deliver us, yet this is the expectation that God may not do it. Perhaps He will, but in Paul's case and in our case, I'm convinced that there are some things that God is not going to take out of our lives and that we're going to contend with until our dying breath. Now, of course, we do want to get to the final truth, that His grace is enough, and we can trust in Him, that's going to be, His power is going to be enough for us. But I think we set a dangerous precedent if we don't expect that in this world we will have trouble. Jesus said it Himself in John 16:33. "I've told you these things so that in you may have peace, but in this world you will have trouble." Now again, He says, "But take heart, I have overcome the world." And we want to get to that truth. He has overcome this world, and there is a new life to come where those pains and struggles will not be there. But until then, we will have trouble. We will have thorns. I say that as kind of a backwards encouragement to you today, to recognize that when trouble comes, when you continually grapple with sin, don't be surprised. Don't expect that something has gone horribly wrong, that somehow you've misstepped, or that somehow God has removed His hand from your life. No, it's promised to us that we're going to have thorns, we're going to have troubles in our lives. We should keep praying. We should expect that God's grace will be enough for us. We should look forward to the world ahead. But just like the doctor who told me this will hurt a lot, you should also know that in this world there will be things that hurt a lot. Now, when those come, let's not be surprised. Let's not lash out at God for them. But let's just own the fact that that's part of living in a broken world. And then once we've recognized that, let's look forward to the world to come, the new world that Jesus will bring forth to us, in which he has overcome all those things, and there will be no more suffering or sorrow or pain or tears. I hope you find that encouraging. At the very least, I hope that sets your expectations today. We'll see you next time on the Cornerstone Connection.